Alrighty, so the recent stage just ended and I am basically here to talk about most of the stuff that was talked about on that stage because there's a lot of major stuff that they talked about. Okay, so let's get started. Alrighty, so I have a list here of the things that were talked about. I'm going to be mentioning some of the more major ones right here. So second solo leveling update is on the tables. They are actually very interested in making it, and I do believe that second solo leveling update might actually happen. This is something that they talked about on stage, so I do believe that since a second solo leveling is, very likely, this might happen in around update 4.5 or 5. I think it's gonna be for update 5 because of how big the second solo leveling update is, and also because of how famous the solo leveling in general is. Then they also talked about Devil May Cry as an anime, and this might happen when the Devil May Cry anime for Netflix release around April, so that's maybe when we could expect these units. Then apart from that, they also talked about Odyssey, which is essentially this game mode right here that's already in the map. Yeah, like it's right over there. So if you're wondering what Odyssey is, I think I'm gonna make a separate video about this, just this one in particular. They confirmed that it essentially replaces Paragon. It's basically going to be the game mode that replaces Paragon, and essentially what that means is it's going to be the Paragon replacement, right? It's going to replace Paragon, and basically the way that they described it on stage is Odyssey is going to be Paragon if Paragon wasn't broken. So it's going to be its own completely separate game mode, and it's also going to be a very unique, I wouldn't say, I don't know if it's going to be unique or different to Paragon, but it's going to be Paragon but better, essentially. There's also a lot of people asking about shiny unit transfers. They said that shiny unit transfer is never gonna happen. Trait transfer to another unit is also never gonna happen. Then for those asking when is Gogeta gonna be gone, when is the winter event going to disappear, they basically gave us some information, some pretty big information about this actually. The next winter or next seasonal event is going to happen in the next season, obviously. So winter event is going to be gone when the next seasonal event releases, which is going to be likely in summer or maybe around Easter. So that's when winter is gonna disappear, and they said that was around April, so that's a month from now, and that's also when Gogeta is going to be disappearing. They also mentioned that Vanguard units are going to continuously be meta. Gogeta right now is the best unit in the game, the most overpowered unit, period, and they confirmed that the next Vanguard unit will also be similar. The next Vanguard unit will also be equally as powerful, if not more powerful than Gogeta, and he is going to be broken. Essentially, the way that they describe this is they want the Vanguard units to be worth your investment. If you invested a lot of time, money, and effort into getting these Vanguard units, they're going to be overpowered and they're going to be worth your time, which I think is actually pretty good, especially now that I have Gogeta Monarch. Yes, I think that's actually pretty good. If you don't get Vanguard units, tough luck, okay? No, in all seriousness though, I think that this might actually be good and both bad because Vanguard units are difficult to get. So if the Vanguard unit is going to be incredibly hard to get, then it might actually be an annoying problem. But since these units are in the game for so long, then yeah, I think most people will probably get them. And also because they confirmed that Vanguard units are always going to be AFK-able. What essentially that means is that you are always going to be able to AFK the currency used for Vanguard units. They confirmed this on stage, that Vanguard units are going to be tied to seasonal events. So the next Vanguard unit is going to appear a month from now, around the same time Gogeta disappears, and his currency is going to be AFK farmable. They confirmed this on stage. So the farm for the next Vanguard unit will not be as bad as the farm for the previous first Vanguard unit, because you're gonna be able to AFK this Vanguard unit, which in my opinion is pretty good. Like, you can easily get like 1 million presents in 10 days with Vanguard, with AFK chambers. And how I got my Gogeta is from AFK, right? It's not as hard as previously, right? So if you AFK for long enough, you are gonna be getting this unit, in my opinion, if you AFK for long enough. So I know that it might be annoying, but it is what's gonna be happening. They are also going to be adding skip cutscenes on Boss Rush. This is something that I asked and they said they would do. Marriage system or affinity is never gonna happen. They confirmed it's never gonna happen. Bleach story and achievement, because there's no achievement for Bleach right now, will also be happening. They confirmed this on stage, which is actually pretty nice. Then they're also going to be adding maybe a join mechanics, or you're going to be able to join your friends. Maybe this is going to be on profile. You're going to be able to search by player name, and then you're probably going to be able to join them by doing that. They said that they would do this, and I actually think that's pretty cool if they do add that. And then the next one, then they also talked about Kagurabachi as a battle pass unit. Yeah, Kagurabachi as a battle pass unit is pretty cool. Then they also talked about rifts. I heard them mention something about making rifts a public lobby. They're planning on making or giving rifts a public lobby to make it easier for people to join the rifts, essentially, which I think is actually pretty good. Then they also talked about when you hover over gold units, make it display money farmed since placement, and instead of, you know, the kills, right? So essentially, when you place a farm unit, it's gonna display how much money it has farmed for you since you place it down, which I think is actually very cool. Then I heard them talk about familiar filters as well, because there's no filter for familiar. Like if you go over on familiars, there's no filter here. Like this one is for flame, this one is for unbound, this one is for unbound as well. And it would actually be kind of nice to have a filter for that, and I think they will be adding this actually. They also talked about increasing max level, but they said that it's not gonna be for a while, so I think we're gonna be sticking up to 60 level for a while. I believe they might do this around update 5, honestly, for increasing max level. I think that might be update 5 or something like that. Right now there's still no news on trading and when trading is going to be released. All they said is that they have it planned. Same for guilds, they have it planned as well. I already talked about guilds on the previous video where I talked about it. They want guilds to essentially be kind of a friendly play, like a co-op instead of competition. That's how they described guilds on their last stage, and I think that's actually pretty cool. They also talked about having a sneak peek for update 4.5 soon. They're not going to be doing one of those scripts where they're going to make us figure out the unit. They're not going to be making us, you know, ask ChatGPT, oh, help me figure this out. They're not going to be giving us a puzzle that will take like weeks to solve. No, they're just going to give us a plain sneak peek. And they also said, based on their schedule, that I think this update should release around 2 weeks from now. They also did clarify why the update took too long, and that's mainly because a lot of them got sick. And honestly, since a lot of them got sick, and one of the developers or owners was on vacation, I think that's actually pretty valid on why the update was delayed, because, you know, they were on vacation and stuff like that. I honestly think that's pretty valid. They have a life too, you know, go easy on them. 1 day delay is not that hard. Get over it, okay? No, I'm serious here. 1 day delay was not even that bad. It's not even something to complain about. They literally did all this in 3 weeks. So them delaying it for a day is honestly not that bad. And then the last thing that they mentioned is for the units that are in this update, if you think they're bad, take a look at their passives first, because they mentioned that the worse stats a unit has, the better passives they have. So if you take a look at Yamamoto or Aizen and you think, oh my god, this unit is trash, take a look at their stats first. And if you take a look at their stats, I mean, if you think a unit stats is bad, take a look at their passives first, because they might have bad stats but they have good passives, and they're based simply on how the unit works in the game or in their anime. For example, like for example, if a character in the anime is just purely a stick stat or whatever they used to call them, basically if a unit in the anime is a powerhouse and he's just strong, he's gonna have high stats. But if he is a character who has unique abilities, then he's gonna have unique passives, and his stats might not be that high, but his passives are gonna be crazy. Like Aizen, for one. Ichigo, again, a lot of people, Ichigo is trash, but in reality is actually very good. So yeah, that's pretty much what they talked about on stage. I'm pretty sure I'm missing a bunch of stuff here, but a lot of the other stuff that they talked about was pretty minor. I tried to list the most significant ones, so if you enjoyed this video and found the future of anime vanguards pretty cool, and don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and yeah, support AV because they're doing such a great job right now. Peace out.